Any questions there?
And then the actual tax rate, does everybody know that you signed up on?
Oh, sure. So, I don't remember the exact tax rate last year. I believe it was like 0.099. But I know this year it will be 0.0922, which is our lowest tax rate we've had since 2004. So, and again, our levy for now, this will now be our third year in a row that we've done at least a 0% tax increase. In 2023, we did actually reduce the levy by about 11%. But again, we're continuing to see that even our current operating expenses, we are operating still at this current levy. So 0% for at least now is sustainable and fiscally responsible. Last update here on new business is the capital fund. I want to remind the board that in the March board meeting, we've approved the capital fund, one via resolution last year, two via this new budget, and then in the most recent month, we did approve resolution to transfer funds from town to the capital fund, again, in anticipation of future projects. So I did want to point out the capital fund, again, has been formally created. After some discussions with the bank and our accountants, we found that the golden number for that initial transfer was a total of $1.5 million. One is that is the amount that allows the township to be in compliance with financial rules, but at the same time, this is the golden number that keeps our high interest rate at the exact amount, meaning it will be unchanged. The reason I point that out is currently our biggest fund, right? We have our town, we have a checking account, a savings account, and then a money market account, which is like an investment account for government entities. Our savings account for the town has the most amount of money. However, with one of our agreements with the bank, is it needs to have a certain amount of money in order to keep a very high interest rate. However, if we were to transfer any money and get below a threshold, our interest rate would drop considerably. Our money market account, which again is invested similar to Illinois funds, which is actually higher than the market average, we have one for town, and it's the exact amount of $1.5 million. So we created a money market account for capital, which serves as a sort of savings account. And all we're doing is moving that 1.5 from town to capital. It's almost like we're just renaming the account. We're not changing anything from savings, and we're able to keep all the interest rates exactly the same. I do want to point out that that takes a little bit of time. Granted, we're working with a large sum of money, and we're transferring between investment accounts. So the full transfer was not made as of this, posting of this agenda. We certainly foresee it happening before the May board meeting. So I do want to point out that at our May board meeting, the town bill list will be a very large number, at least $1.5 million. So I just want to give the board a heads up about that. But in terms of expenses, the capital bill list will continue to be zero until I think either June or July. The next big project is the Fairmont ARPA project, and again, we don't anticipate paying contractors until the summer. Any questions on that? All right, so next we'll move on to motions and approvals. We have a healthy list of approvals to discuss tonight. So the first item, this is a proclamation declaring May 2026 ALS Awareness Month. I want to point out that there was some residents in Crest Hill that actually reached out encouraging the township to pass this proclamation. Specifically, there was some residents from Carillon Lakes who have family members that have been impacted by ALS, otherwise also known as Lou Gehrig's disease. And so what they were asking for, not just from the township, but also the city of Crest Hill, was just as a sign of support if we could commemorate, or if we could declare May 2026, the month alone, as ALS Awareness Month. They were actually nice enough to provide a template of the proclamation, which we put into the, our usual format. And I thought it'd be a good idea. But before we go to a vote, I just want to open it up for discussion to the board and see everyone's thoughts. Hear everyone's thoughts. Okay. Seeing some head nods, so I'll take that as approval. So if I could entertain a motion and a second to to approve the proclamation declaring May 2026 ALS Awareness Month.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Karen Johnson,
I'll second that.
second by Ronald Rico. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, proclamation is approved, motion carries, thank you. Next item on the list. Next item on the list this was actually a request from the Lockport Township Park District. We've done this for 2 years in a row now, but the Township Park District has hosted a Juneteenth event in the summer. I've gone the past few years, I know a few folks on this board have as well, and it continues to grow and expand. I know last year there was an amazing turnout, and then in the past 2 years, we've supported the Township Park District with a small amount of $250. This year they reached out and they asked for the same amount, and then I figured we'd be willing to support, but I of course committed to leaving it up to a board discussion and a board vote first. So I will turn it over to the board for any thoughts.
I think it's a good project, so I'm looking for it.
Awesome.
Oh, yeah. It's nice.
And then in the next meeting or so, I'll be sure to include the Juneteenth event in the upcoming meetings and events, just as a reminder. It is public and everyone here is invited. So if I could entertain a motion to support the Lockport Township Park District Juneteenth event in the amount of $250.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Karen Johnson,
And I will second that.
second by Dion Wright. Madam Clerk, could I please have a roll call?
Johnson?
Yes.
Alberico?
Yes.
Wright? Yes. Sapien?
Yes. All right, motion carries. We'll move on now to our next item on the list. So that is Resolution 2026-2. And that is a resolution authorizing Lockport Township to apply for CDBG funding for the Fairmont Stormwater Project Phase 2. So to give everyone a little bit of context, right, as I mentioned, we currently have a $5 million ARPA grant for the Fairmont Drainage Project that is currently underway. For the next phase, Phase 2, right, because currently this ARPA is for the Southeast watershed, and so we're thinking ahead for funding for the next phase, which includes the Central and North watershed in Fairmont. For that, no surprise, we need a couple more $1 million. So for next year, we've actually applied once again through her encouragement to Congresswoman Lauren Underwood's office for federal funding, and so far things are looking good. However, just to again request some more funding, every year Will County has a CDBG, the CDBG process, and I think about every year we receive funding for them, and so every year, again, because it's county funding, this is just a formality before we formally submit an application. We do just need to approve the resolution that would allow us to submit the application. This is, at this point, a formality. We've approved this resolution in previous years, but the amount in this application we're requesting is for about $800,000. And so if awarded, that plus any potential funding from Lauren Underwood's office would allow us to continue, this drainage project for next year. Any questions on this resolution? If I could then entertain a motion and a second to approve Resolution 2026-2.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Karen Johnson,
I will second.
second by Ronald Rico. Madam Clerk, can I please have a roll call?
Alberico?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Sapien?
Yes.
Wright? Yes.
All right, next item on the agenda, and this is a very exciting project. So this is, after some months of negotiation, we have a final rental agreement with Will County Senior Services to have a satellite office at the Ovation Center located in Roosevelt. I do have a full copy of the lease in everyone's packet. I do want to extend a huge thank you once again to our township attorney, one for his patience and two for his work on this. I do want to just explain at a very high level what the rental agreement entails. So I want to start off by saying that when we first started negotiations back in 2024, even under a previous board, we were having a building relationship with Will County Senior Services. However, for this office that we're looking at, we were looking at monthly rent of about $1,200, $1,300 per month, not including utilities. And then there was a substantial buy-in and a commitment of 4 years. Fast forward till now, this current rental agreement, first off, there is no buy-in, meaning all we're doing is we're paying on a month-to-month basis a certain, our rent. I do want to point out again, there is no commitment past several months. So if we are at the satellite office and we see that there's not a whole lot of traction, then once this rental agreement is up, we can cordially part ways with the Ovation Center at no fees. We thank them for hosting us. We go on with having, our office here at the township. Another note is there is no security deposit, no, first and last month's rent. What we're seeing here is we will be paying $782 for rent a month, $102 for common area maintenance, which includes utilities. So for a total of $882 a month, again, on a month-to-month basis, we will have a satellite office of 408 square feet, and this office is at the very front of the Ovation Center, so it is very, very present. I want to quickly point out that in Romeoville, for office space, the average cost per square foot is between $15 to $20. Here, where our cost per square feet is about $2.17. So I do want to point out again that this is after several months of hard work, but we do have a rental agreement here that is very beneficial towards the township. And I'll defer to the attorney, but in terms of liability and risk, that was our highest priority. Again, this was very exciting, but we want to make sure that this is a new endeavor for the township, and we want to make sure we're going in with as little risk as possible. And so that was our main priority, and that's why there was a little bit of a timeline here, but this is the final lease, and then I feel very comfortable with this, and then our attorney, Gary Mueller, had mentioned that he feels comfortable with this as well, so I now present it to the board for a vote. In terms of timeline, I'd like to point out that we would have a tentative move-in date of May 1st, so between now and May 1st, if approved, we would, our staff, we'd go over, take some measurements, exact measurements of the room, logistics, so IT, setting up computer, furniture, etc. We have a soft move-in date of May 1st, and then we would announce this in the summer newsletter, which would go out around, middle of June. We could then announce, say, a formal ribbon cutting towards the end of that month or early July, which would really, make the public aware of this, and then from July onwards, we would then, be expected to be fully open. But again, before going up to a vote, I did want to open up for discussion.
I see it says the space is on Exhibit B, but we don't have an Exhibit B. Is that attached?
I think,
Is that a large document or something?
don't know, I may have forgotten to include it. I know we have Exhibit A.
Yeah, there was some.
I think Exhibit B, I may have forgotten to include it.
But it is that office space that we
Correct, the one that
saw?
we have met. Yeah,
Toward
the
the
one that we have
front?
met. It's that very, very front one.
Okay, but it is included in the one that was signed.
Any other thoughts or questions?
Just on the internet, it says that we can use their Wi-Fi, but we could also have our own service. Is it secure Wi-Fi, or is it just like public Wi-Fi? Would we have to also have internet service installed there?
So from when I've spoken with them, when I've spoken with LASA, they have the internet service that we're allowed to use. The encryption, just like here at the township, that would be on our end. So the idea would be we would set up, IT would set up our equipment there, we'd use the internet through encryption, but then they would have to connect to the servers here, right? Connect to the servers here so we have access to the data, and that of course is encrypted through our security program.
Okay. So we don't get separate internet service there?
Correct, we do not need to.
It's secure.
It's included.
All right.
All right, well, hearing no other questions, I could entertain a motion to approve the rental agreement with Will County Senior Services and the Ovation Center.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Karen Johnson.
I'll second that.
I have a second by Dion Wright. Madam Clerk, can I please have a roll call?
Johnson,
Yes.
Alberico,
Yes.
Wright. Yes. Sapien.
Yes. All right, motion carries. Thank you, everyone. This is very exciting news. I will keep folks very much posted on this. Again, the first item, so after this tonight, I'll reach out to the leadership over at Senior Services, set up a meeting so we can discuss logistics, and then we'll look to have a soft move-in May. But again, I intend that any meetings or anything, everyone here is invited, and if at any point you haven't visited or seen the office, please let me know and we can definitely set up a quick visit. So the next item here on the agenda, it is a proposal amendment. So the Heart Consulting Group grant, there's a grant and program proposal amendment. Again, for some context, we currently have an agreement with the Heart Group to help manage the Fairmont Drainage Project. And that is, again, for that $5 million ARPA grant. But as we discussed previously, we are now looking, we are being proactive and looking at the next phase. And so that includes, again, applying for funding and managing the project if we receive funding from Lauren Edwards' office and as well as CDBG funding. But of course, if we were to continue that, that is now outside the scope of the original proposal. And so here, this is an amendment to that proposal, meaning, breaking down what that work for that next phase would look like and would require. So I have here the amendment. I do want to point out that in the original proposal, which has now been amended and has been reviewed by the attorney, there's two tasks here. One is for CDBG and the other is for federal. There was originally a third task on here, and that was to help manage the $2 million for the EMA, the conversion to the emergency shelter, that funding. That project, with discussion with the attorney, is substantially different than this project working in Fairmont, and we do have a little bit more time there, so there's discussion about potentially going out to bid. And so just as to not hold this project back, we removed that section here entirely. So the only thing we're considering here is expanding the scope to include, once again, Fairmont Drainage, potentially the next phase. So to that, I will open it up to discussion with the board.
So it looks like it's a total of 150 hours with two parts of phase two.
Correct. Yep, 60 and 90. I know originally there was that portion of 1,500, and we just removed that section entirely. So any questions on this? All right, so hearing none, if I can entertain a motion to approve the Heart Consulting Group grant and program proposal amendment.
I'll make that motion.
I have a motion by Karen Johnson.
I'll second that.
I have a second by Dion Wright. Madam Clerk, can I please have a roll call?
Sapien.
Yes.
Johnson,
Yes.
Alberico,
Yes.
Wright. Yes.
Thank you. Motion carries. Last item on the agenda here, I want to remind the board again from discussions we've had in the past several months. This is a project that Trustee Karen Johnson and I have been working with. But to recap, so Lewis University has a very nice program. Specifically, they call it the Community Schools Consortium program, in which they work directly with schools across the county, specifically, Value School District, and also specifically Fairmont. Now through this, they have a school partnership coordinator, they have several events, workshops, programming focused on teacher retention, leadership opportunities, etc. However, one of the issues they've had is some loss in federal funding. So they've been working with our state legislature, so including Rep. Avalar, Rep. Manley, and Senator Capel on the big chunk of the funding. However, given our strong presence in Fairmont and given that the schools are in the township, there was an idea that the township could, at least for just this portion of the year, for this year, support them with a grant amount again. And this would include support in Fairmont and continue to expand this across the township, including the Valley View School District. So to that, I open it up to any discussion with the board.
My only thought was, and I did discuss it with you, is I'd like to see this move into Crest Hill too, for the Cheney School District. At some point in time.
We will make a note of that. Karen, I know you, or excuse me, Trustee Johnson, I know you had mentioned about potentially school in Lockport as well. I think it was there a
Yeah,
level
I'm just
for
not
that?
sure which school, I think, because this is working with grade schools.
Mhm.
And, you know, Fairmont can always use help, even though it's been improved. But I thought there was one other grade school, I know the grade schools in Lockport Township are amazing, but is it Taft? There's another one that might be like, you know, above
Mhm.
Fairmont, but in the other schools
Still
that maybe
without
they
help.
could, yeah.
Got it. So I know with our discussions with the leadership team, they're very much focused on expanding it, so we'll make sure to push Cheney Grade School in particular, or Crest Hill schools. We'll do that, and then of course, as noted in the memorandum of understanding, which we helped add, you know, several substantial points, but there will certainly be very frequent communication with the team, including formal reporting, mid-year, year-end, et cetera. And again, towards the end of this program, they will have to demonstrate program impact, and then of course, from our board perspective, we'd have to once again potentially agree and view our ability of funds. So again, this is not a long-term commitment, this is just a short-term, almost testing commitment, if you will.
I was really glad to hear about this program. I didn't realize they were doing this, so it's good to get exposure to grade school kids.
All right, so if I could entertain a motion then to approve the memorandum of understanding between Lockport Township and the Lewis University Community Schools Consortium.
I'll make that motion.
A motion by Karen Johnson,
I'll second it.
and a second by Ronald Rico. Madam Clerk, could I please have a roll call?
Sapien?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Alrico?
Yes.
Right.
Abstain.
Thank you. All right, motion carries. All right, and so that is all our approvals for the night. In terms of old business and past events, nothing. Pretty calm month. Pretty calm month. I did want to highlight some upcoming meetings and events though. The Highway Commissioner, the Township Collector, and myself, we will be attending the TOI Annual Lobby Day, and that is actually next Wednesday on April 15th. I do want to remind the board that the day before, so the April 14th, is the annual town meeting, I believe at 6:30. 6:30. Thank you, Aaron.
You're welcome.
That will be the annual town meeting, April 14th, and then again, the Commissioner, Collector, and I will be attending Lobby Day on the 15th. And then I wanted to remind the board once again, the Lockport State of the City address will be on April 21st. That'll be 11:30. That'll be here nearby, and then the Romeo State of the Village address will be held on April 28th, also at 11:30, and that'll be held at the Romeo Athletic Center. Any final questions, comments, thoughts from the board?
Oh, I just thought I'd add the Crest Hills first Easter egg hunt was a really nice event. They had a really great turnout. I love the petting zoo, the little green one, but they're so cute.
And we got to take a picture with the two Easter bunnies, which so happen to be students.
Yeah. The Easter eggs, they were eggs.
Oh, they were eggs?
They were
Okay.
eggs.
Okay. I was stuck on that bunny.
Yes. So actually, correction, that was a past event. That went, once again, very well, and I would say both the residents and the City of Crest Hill administration and, you know, the elected officials were very grateful of the support from the township. And again, this was actually their first year having it, but I think it was a great success. We showed up half an hour early before the event even started, and there was already very high turnout. You would have thought, you would have walked in and thought we were halfway through the event. But in fact, we were there 30 minutes before the event started, so very, very good overall.
Super packed.
Yeah, people were, even toward the start time, people were walking from a couple blocks away to the park. Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah.
And I'd like to thank the board for their condolences and the flowers that were sent to my brothers.
That was, Arkansas.
Oh, thank you.
All right, final comments from the board? All right, hearing none, if I could entertain a motion in a second to adjourn this township meeting.
That much?
Motion by Attorney Thompson,
I'll second that.
second by John Wright. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, township meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everyone.